Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, everyone. How are you today? I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining. I'm wondering who's going to be the first to join this evening. It's a Saturday after all. We should have many people who are home today relaxing. Hello, Paul. You're the first to say hello. Thank you, Paul. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Good evening, everyone. Hello, who else do we have? I want to say hello to somebody else. Hi, Paul. Shalom, DSA and everyone. How do you know DSA is here, Paul? Well, it is. You're right. You guessed it right. Good evening, everyone. It's Saturday today. I hope you've had a lovely, lovely Saturday. A pleasant one, I hope. Hello, Philip. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Rufaro, good evening. How are you? Thank you for joining. Thank you, guys. It's going to be a great kingdom fruit today. I know some of you have seen the name already. You might not know the lady's name, but I think you will do. Hello, Paul. Hello, Vivian. Hello, Kuli Chang. How are you? I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Thank you for joining. You know now, Vivian. Hello. Hello, Isaiah. Thank you for joining. So I think you know the last name, but Ruthie herself, I'm not sure if everyone knows her, but you will do today, and you'll be glad you do. Hi, Sam. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you all. Please, guys, you know, Kingdom Fruit is always inspiring. So I would really urge you guys to please invite as many people as possible. You can invite in various ways. So, or you can do all. You don't have to do just the one. You can hashtag, not hashtag, it's just a tag. It's at, then the name of the person. Then you can also invite somebody by inviting them specially. So clicking on a friend's name in Messenger and inviting them. Or you can share on your page. Either way, just do what you need to do, or not either, because it's more than two. So you have 3 ways there. You can do all 3, or you can do one or the other. But I'll urge you to please invite people by all 3 means. Thank you very much. Olabisi, good evening. Thank you for joining. Okay, Olabisi, my contact is Mayowa Olaya. It's on Facebook, so you can just call me on Mayowa Olaya, but not right now because we're having the program, and not later on because I won't be able to pick up as well. But anytime, maybe in the mornings here in Ukraine, you can do so, and I'll be able to answer you. Or you can send me a text, and I'll be able to reply through Messenger. Hello, Sam. Good evening. Hello, Sunday. Hello, Ruthie. Thank you for joining. Bingpei, good evening. Thank you for joining. Thank you, Mayowa, my namesake. Thank you for joining this evening. Please, guys, invite as many people as possible. DSA is here, and DSA will be hosting this program alongside myself, because we have Kingdom Fruits, and we are hosting a great, inspiring individual. You know what Kingdom Fruit is like, an inspiration every time. And I can't wait. Tonight is a female, and not that I'm sexist, but we have more males than female on Kingdom Fruits. And every time a woman comes on, I'm really excited, because, you know, I have no excuse, and I can actually emulate what they're doing and look at what they're doing, and, you know, apply them much easier without making any excuses, such as it's because it's a guy or whatsoever. Not that they are good excuses, but I'm just telling you what happens with me usually. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Jane. Thank you for joining. Guys, I appreciate you all for joining, but please do me one more favor by inviting as many people as possible. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, let me just remind you what we do on Kingdom Fruits. Kingdom Fruits are people that have been listening to Dr. Sunday, individual, should I say, that have been listening to Dr. Sunday in the last year or so, whenever they have, and they've been inspired. They've been inspired through their own talents, their own gifts, and they've done something with it through these teachings. So they've learned from the teaching, and they've applied those teachings into their project, or something that they love, something that they desire. And it's really great whenever you listen to people and you listen to their background and what they're able to accomplish in a short space of time. I personally am always inspired, and I know many people are as well. Hello, Ayo. Good evening. Thank you for joining. So invite as many people as possible. In the meantime, let me just give you some notice, or should I say updates. Yes, updates, I could call them updates. Tomorrow, guys, please don't forget, especially people living in Nigeria, even if you are not in Nigeria, but you know people that lives in Nigeria, that you have actually told about Dr. Sunday, or you've given some sort of information about Dr. Sunday, but they've been challenged with data or time to watch Dr. Sunday. Tomorrow is their day, is the D-Day. Dr. Sunday is going to be on Cool FM 96.9 with Daddy Freeze. So that's Praise Jam FM. It's Cool FM, it's Praise Jam FM. I think the station itself is Cool FM. And the title of that program that morning, Sunday morning, 9 a.m. is Praise Jam FM with Daddy Freeze. So please ask them to join Dr. Sunday. And if you're in Nigeria, I will really suggest that tomorrow maybe miss church. I'm not a big advocate of church, but I'm just saying that maybe you could miss church and have a breakfast gathering with your friends and family. Listen to this on radio, and once you finish, have a debate, have a conversation on what Dr. Sunday is going to discuss. Because this is the first time that Dr. Sunday, in so many years, will be on mainstream radio in Nigeria. So I think it's a really good opportunity for you guys to listen and also get new people that have never listened to Dr. Sunday to get the opportunity to do so without having to worry about data or anything else, or going to YouTube or having a laptop available or a computer. This doesn't require a computer, it's just a radio. Although, if you're anywhere in the world as well, you can also listen on computer through the internet. So it's Praise Jam FM, which is 96.9. Praise Jam FM, Cool FM, 96.9. So please do so. Yes, Sam, I said Miss Church. I know you said Miss Church Care. Yes. Sam, you're probably new on here. I miss church all the time because I am the church. I don't need to go to a building to be in a church. So you're probably new. You'll get the hang of it soon. Okay, thank you all. I appreciate you all for joining. What else? I have another update with some of the avenues, or should I say platform, where you can download Dr. Sunday's teachings. You can download on fex.net, fex.net. So go on there. This is a really good way to download because this is in series. So you don't have to download one by one anymore, like on like on YouTube or even on Facebook. On FexNet is a zip. All you need to do is choose a title or the series that you prefer, and you download the whole titles on that series at once. That's brilliant. So please check that out. I think you'll really like it. Fex.net. That's fex.net. Thank you, guys. Dr. Sunday is here, so I'm going to let him take the camera shortly. Hi, Ruthie. I hope you're there. I actually saw you come in, so thank you for joining us. I can't wait for your kingdom fruit. Actually is here, so why can't I wait? I can wait now. Chinwe, it's been a while. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Hello, Pastor Obi. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Who else do we have? Hello, Ayo. Good evening. Thank you for joining. Onye, good evening. Lisa, good evening. Gift, how are you? Olabisi, good evening. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, guys. So I'll ask you to do the honors one more time before we start and invite your friends and family. 3 ways of doing that. You can write at on the comment section and write the name or names of people that you want to invite. So at with every name that you want to invite, and they'll get a notification that they've been mentioned on a program, and they will come on. You can also share this live program now. It will go on your page, and other people on your page or people that are viewing your page will be able to see this program and then join you. Or you can also invite people individually. Invite them by actually clicking on invite so and so. So that's 3 ways for you. Those are 3 ways for you. Please try all 3 and see which one is more effective for you, your friends, and your family. Yes, today we are continuing with our kingdom fruit. Hello, Abdul. Thank you very much for joining. So, guys, let's start. Dr. Sunday is here. I'm going to turn the camera shortly. It's going to be a different type of kingdom fruit today. You know, Dr. Sunday is quite an innovator, so he's always bringing new ideas. And the team here, they're very quick. I mean, I've never seen anyone so smart as a team to come up with, once Dr. Sunday gives us an idea, to build on that idea. So I'm really privileged to be here, and thank you for joining us. Abdul, good evening. So I'm turning the camera shortly. Let me just say hello to a few more people. Thank you, Abdul. Welcome. Christy, good evening. Thank you for joining. Who else do we have? Pastor Obi, I've said hello already. Sam, okay. Thank you, guys. So I'm going to turn the camera now. Okay.
I need to move back a little bit, no?
Oh, I'm okay.
You're okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Am I not too down? Because you are using the big stand. You had a smaller one. Hello, everybody. Sunday Adelaja here, but we are going to try to do something about the stand if it could be reduced. But today we're going to have a very, very unique Kingdom Fruits. And first of all, I would like to start by saying that I have a feeling that the Kingdom Fruit, the people who are watching Kingdom Fruits will be tempted sometimes to think that this Kingdom Fruit kind of a thing is for the few chosen ones. So is this Kingdom Fruit thing for the chosen ones, for the few chosen ones, or it is for everybody? Well, that's the thing I would like to start with. And I would like to start by saying this is not a chosen club. This is not just for the chosen few. This is for everyone on DSA family. So if you're a member of the family, if you belong to the DSA family, if you've been on this platform, it doesn't matter how long, but if you can already see the extent of change in your life, or you've seen a level of change in your life that you feel that, but we have some demands. You've got to have some concrete fruits, not just the inward change, but also outward results that you started having. You must begin to already start doing something with what you've learned from DSA. So those people who know they have changes and that their lives are changed, and also that they have fruits that they started to bring out, they are the ones that are invited and are welcome to come and share their stories. So I want you team to keep on remembering me. Only you can remember me, so that I talk about it on the bigger platform and invite everybody that that knows that his life has changed and that he would like to share his own or our own story with the world. And then this another way that we use to give people exposure and give them platform and use credibility and platform and name to expose them to the world for what the good work they are doing. So it's a kind of reward for our team members, for our family members. And also it is one thing that God, that I believe that the kingdom of God is all about and the church is all about, which is that God creates platform for his children. So this is, an opportunity to create not just a platform for you, but a planet for you, to help you identify your planet, your territory, and to also help you, establish the kingdom of God on your own territory, on your own, in your own kingdom, and then have the opportunity to become a king of your own territory. Because the Bible says we are kings and priests, so that is, if you say you are a king and you don't have a territory, you are not really a king. So it's an opportunity to help you find your territory, be a king in your territory, and establish you, and establish you in your territory. Sorry guys for that. So it's just an opportunity to give people the opportunity to be who they need to become in God. So, and it's also a way for us to show the church worldwide what ministry is all about and what the church is supposed to be doing with Christians. So the church is supposed to be, empowering Christians, raising deliverers, raising sons. And we are doing that here on DSA Family, just to show the world that this is exactly how this thing is supposed to be done. Okay, back to you, Mayowa.
So guys, it's going to be an interesting evening today. So what I'm going to ask is, guys, just brace yourself. We're going to have the Kingdom Fruit to be on live with us. So we're going to stream the person live so that you'll be able to see the person while the person is speaking as well. So guys, who's there? Nkechi, hello, good evening. How are you? I hope you're okay. Thank you for joining. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, I'm moving my camera around. I really do want it to be stable, but okay. I think it's a little bit better now. Yes, it's stable right now.
Yes.
Yes.
You need to bring it look this way so that you see more of the
Yes.
television. You see the television fully.
Let me see. Yeah, that's better.
So we're having a new format for this Kingdom Fruits. It's going to be a new format. We're going to be doing it a different way from today. Maybe it's not going to be the same every time, so I'm not going to promise you that this is the way we're always going to be doing it. So every Kingdom Fruit is going to be different. But this particular one, this is the idea or the innovation that I was able to come up with. And yeah, I just think that this will be a better deal today. So you'll be able to see me, and you'll also be able to see the hero of the show. So today there is a lady that we have from America. I think they are from Ohio, I guess. Yeah, from America that I've really been looking forward to talk to this lady, by the way, because I started by getting to know the husband, but soon after I got to know her because I started visiting their page. I started seeing materials from her. I started listening to her husband and to her. I started listening to the two of them, and I've been impressed by them, by their family, and by the progress they've made, and by how they've been able to learn so much and duplicate so much and move so fast to capture the spirit of the SA and to also be men of their own and to be people that are history makers. I see them as history makers already, as saviors, as sons for God. And, and I couldn't believe it because this lady has a child. She's got a baby. Normally, ladies have a good excuse in the fact that they have children and they have a baby or a kid and they're busy and they don't really, they just allow their husbands to be who he wants to be, but not necessarily they maximizing, especially when they have a child, so they have an excuse. So it's like, well, let it be. But in this case, Ruthie or Ruth is going parallel with her husband. And that husband is a kind of unique guy. It's more like me. He's not like an African guy. I mean, he's empowering the wife. He's pulling her along. And they are going together as partners the way it's supposed to be, So I like their family. I mean, that's the way things are supposed to be. I mean, they just make me proud because when I do things and when I talk about things, sometimes people tend to think that I'm kind of strange. It's just because of me. I'm special. I'm different. But they make it to look easy. And they make it to look as if I'm not the only one who can make this thing work. And they are really making it work. So, and then another thing that has surprised me about them is that they are, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that they are, from what I heard, because the husband is originally from Nigeria, and I think Ruthie is originally from the US. So they have a conflicting kind of culture, but you cannot tell. If you see them together, you cannot tell. And if you see the way they're working together, the way they're, they are, so perfect. So I would like you to go, please, and invite all your friends. This is a program that I would really like you to invite all your friends to come and watch. I would like you to write your friends right now, write their name, just write @ in the comment, just like Mayowa has told you, and write the names of as many people as possible to get them to come. Because I'm not going to be talking to her after reading the letter at the end, as I will normally do. This time I'm going to be reading the letter, and we are going to be calling her from the beginning, and we are going to be starting together, and we are going to have more time. So the name of the lady is Ruth or Ruthie, and she's only 28 years old. Been a Christian for 15 years. Yeah, that's the family. You have more pictures? Look at it. Look at that family. Look at those pictures. Can you see the pictures?
Yeah.
Look at them. Look at them. But it's unbelievable that she even has given birth because she looks so slim And the boy is big already, and he just smiled. Look at that smile. You know, it's absolutely unbelievable. And but she said she had weight as well. So she had lost that weight, and so that has become a product. And see that family. See what is happening. This is what we're going to be doing now with Kingdom Fruits. And this is much more professional, much more presentable. And yeah, we're going to be doing this. So, well, let's call on Ruth. And I'm going to be reading her story, and she's going to be commenting for us. Is the volume good enough? Or is it going to be good enough? Are you sure the volume is okay from the television?
Yes.
Good.
From here.
Okay. No, it's supposed to be from the television. It's supposed to be a bigger volume from
No,
there.
it's good.
Okay, but because it's so far from the camera.
It's good.
Okay, I hope so.
Yeah.
If you will need it, you might need a. Okay.
So, Colin.
Okay. So let's go get Ruth here. Hello, Ruth. The only thing is that we need your video. I hope you are ready for that one. I hope that you are warned.
Okay, sir.
Okay, here is the girl. here is the lady. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, sir. Like, that's great.
Okay, I hope the people who are listening to us could hear Ruth and her voice very well. I hope the voice is good enough for them. I hope nobody will complain. So I'm going to be reading your story part by part, and then you are going to be commenting when I stop. Either when I ask you or whenever you want to comment, you just say, hey, you just say something so that I stop.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Now, my Ruth, like I said, Ruth Akinbowale is her name. She was born 28 years ago, and she's been a Christian since for 15 years, since she was 13. To tell you a little about myself, she writes, I was a typical so-called good Christian. I went to church like 3 or more times in a week. I volunteered in just about every department available in the church, such as choir, children, hospitality, ushering, evangelism, and prayer band. I thought serving in the church was the best way to serve and show my commitment to God until He was ready to release me into my destiny. I was so ignorant and deep into religion without knowing. Now, stop. This church you are describing here, is that a Nigerian church?
Well, I actually grew up, but first of all, I wanted to say that I'm actually from Nigeria. I was born in Nigeria, but I came to the States at a young age.
Ooh.
Yes.
Tell us more about that.
Yes, so I came to the United States. I'm Ogoni.
Wow.
Ogonila.
Wow, that's why you look like you look like Dr. Sufficient.
Sufficient?
Has anybody told you that before?
No, no one has told me that before.
But do you know you look alike?
Really? You think so?
Much alike, yes. I had always seen that, and I had always known that. That's why once you mentioned Ogonila, I just knew that this is a confirmation of what I had known before.
Well, I take that as a compliment. She's a wonderful woman.
Yeah, and she's Ogoni too.
Yeah,
But
I discovered that.
how did you know she's Ogoni?
You know, I was watching your videos or your series on YouTube one day, and I think excuse me, take that back. I was listening to a video that she did some time ago, and she mentioned her name, the name that her father calls her, which is Bariduate.
Yes.
Which means God is your father.
How do you go ahead.
That was how I discovered that she's from my side.
And you were able to understand that language?
Yes,
You do?
Of course, Son and I do not speak it because we are different. He's Yoruba and I'm Odu.
But then, how could, but you said you came when you were a child.
Yeah, I came as a young person. I came about maybe 10 or so. So that's why, I mean, half and half American. I can relate to my African background, American background, whatever. I'm just like a hybrid of both.
And you didn't forget the language?
No, because I came with some relatives, some aunts and uncles, and I have some other relatives here. So, of course, when you come here as a young person, I'm sure many other Africans on the platform will understand as they have children, you know, maybe living outside of America. When you go to school, you do your American thing, you relate with Americans or, you know, English people, British people, however you do it. But when you are home, you're African. There's no other way about it. So your family or your parents will raise you strictly as African. So that's how the culture never left me.
Wow. Well, maybe that's because you were born back in Africa, because that's not the same story with my children.
Oh, really? and yes, that's true. That is actually true. Also, because my biological parents are still in Africa. So I came here because of the organic crisis that happened many years ago with cancer, Mayowa, and all of that. So that was how I was separated during that, you know, that time. I was separated from my biological parents along the way. So I was with an aunt that time. So we escaped to a refugee camp in Benin, and we were fortunate enough to be resettled to the United States. So I stayed with my aunt and my uncle, and they basically raised me. And of course, they came here as much older people. So you know, you don't lose your culture when you come here as a grown up with children. And so because my parents are in Africa, along the line we were able to, you know, get back in touch. And so I was always being reminded of where I come from, and I love my history. I love how God, in the midst of everything that happened, He made it turn out to be good. So I love being a Nigerian. It's just something that made me unique, even, you know, growing up in the United States. So something I'm very proud of my heritage. So that's why it was easy for me not to lose it.
Oh, so, but when you talk here about you trying to serve God, volunteering in every department, and choir, children, hospitality, ushering, evangelism, prayer bound, is that just a Nigerian thing, or that's just what happens in normal churches that you know around you?
Oh, that's just a normal thing. Once you're a Christian, the way that you show your devotion is by your activities and the things that you do, you know, within the church. And so I forgot to mention too that the family that I grew up with in the States, that my uncle, who I also call my father, he is a pastor. So I grew up like a pastor's kid. They call it PK. So nothing else is expected of you. You're always in church. You're always doing church-related things. And all around, just as it is in Africa, here too in America, once you are deemed a serious Christian, the way that you show your commitment, especially when you, and I also, even after I, you know, was grown up and I was living on my own and all of that, I joined a African church, you know, and that one was something that was definitely preached. You can't, you know, say you're a serious Christian and you're a worker. I mean, that you love God and you're not volunteering, you're not a worker. So it was just a normal thing, you know, that you're taught, you know, within the church. I mean, I've been through, you just name it, I've went through various churches in America. Anglican or Pentecostal, so it's the same thing all around.
All right. So this church tradition that we have all come to know, that is church is God is God. Let me say God is synonymous to church, and church is synonymous to God.
Yes.
That's basically what it is.
Yes.
It means you want to serve God, you must do something in the church.
Oh yes, if you are really serious about your love for God, it's supposed to reflect in something that you're doing in church. I mean, that you have, whether even if it's just volunteering in the bathroom as a cleaner, you can't just say, especially, let me say, particularly in the African church in despair. So you can't There's something that you can do, and you're supposed to do it. And so even when I stopped going to church altogether, I'm sure that a lot of people, nobody will tell you upfrontly, but I'm sure that people would think that I finally lost it. Like, this good girl that has been serving God, maybe she don't backslide. What has happened to her? So that once you're not in church and you're not doing something physically in the church building, then there's a comma about your Christendom. So people may not outwardly say you're not born again, but there's definitely a comma about you.
So now, what you have come, because in this your letter you started saying that your husband was actually the person that God used to bring that revolution into your life. You said, thankfully, God had compassion upon me and sent me a husband who is very anti-religion. It was through my marriage that God first began to do a mighty work of deliverance in my life and started to set me free from the stronghold of religion and empty traditions of men. This must have been a shock for your system. Did you ever think that maybe I made a mistake? Maybe this guy is going to turn me away from God? Or who is this kind of husband that God has? What is happening? Maybe you even thought it was a crisis in your family.
No, I never for once thought that I made a mistake, because actually, as I was getting to know him in the beginning, he was already a very strange guy to me. But as I prayed, whenever he asked me to marry him, I just knew this man was just different. His relationship with God was like none other that I've ever encountered around me or in person. The way he knew God, his ability to stand for something when no one else agreed, his ability to only be led by God and question things was just so different. Like, he made God seem so real. And I thought, I'm somebody who's passionate too about God. I love God too. But he just took me farther in a way that I've never known before. So I just knew, and that was one of the things that attracted me to him the most, because his love for God was just so real and just so different and tangible, So I was already seeing some of his strange effect. Right from the onset, he was already talking about, when we were getting to know each other, about tithe. And I said, that was the first place I wanted to run when he started to talk about tithe. I said, hey, this guy is crazy with tithe. You know what I mean? So, the wrongful way that people preach tithes and all of that. So it was just very strange. But in my heart, I knew that this man was of God. I knew that he had the Spirit of God. And God, of course, as I prayed about his proposal and all of that, God was strongly leading me to accept, his proposal. And so, no, I never saw him to be an issue. Although other people may have thought that this man has made me crazy, but I know him. Anybody that is of God, even when people are saying some crazy things about, you, if you just take a moment and you humble yourself and you're hungry for the truth, there's no way you can listen and you don't hear truth coming from somebody, no matter their flaws or imperfection. You will see light when light shows up. So, for other people, maybe other people, because other people don't know him, but I know him. So he has never been an issue for me. Of course, when I married him, I said, Lord, I didn't know that this marriage is going to be a marriage of school, because we're always learning. It's like there's always learning. I'm always being challenged. I'm always being strict. My theologies are always being challenged. My doctrines are always being challenged. Every fiber of me, and it's just so beautiful, because he just helped me to discover God in truth and sincerity. And when I married him was when my journey of just freedom, loving and knowing God in spirit and in truth, and just the liberty that comes from really knowing God, and not because you're knowing God or you're close to God, or because you want to be approved by people. That was one thing that God used him to do for me, was to break that. I always wanted to I had this reputation of being a good girl, and so that would hinder you doing some crazy things. So God just really used him to strip me of that, to be a woman of, strength. Know what you believe, stand on what you believe, and be proud of that. But always be humble, even if you make mistakes. No matter how far you have gone, allow God to lead you back into the right direction, and don't be proud. So those
Now, the other thing, thank you for that elaborate answer. But also, I would like to say that, did he really, from what I'm hearing from you, it's like he was actually trying to introduce you to a personal relationship with God rather than religious understanding of God?
More of not conforming to things if you have not taken the time to investigate it. Because in Christendom, for example, when we are at church, when we were at some churches, because somebody is authority over you, they are always right. You don't have a mind of your own. You must always submit or subject yourself to what people believe.
But that's the way all the African churches are behaving right now. Christians.
Exactly. In fact, aside from that being the way it is the church, it's just a normal thing in the African culture. When an adult is speaking, you as the youngest, you can never be right. The person that's older than you is always going to be right. You understand? So you even if you have a contrary thought, you're never really encouraged to investigate it or to look into it. You don't know any better. A person that's been living here longer than you always know the right thing. So that also translates into the way people do church. So the elders are always right. The person that is on the pulpit is always right. The people, so, and that was one of the things I noticed about him. Every time we were in church room, Bible study or Sunday school, he will always raise his hand. He had a question. They always want to know something. You always, because he was somebody that I knew studied on his own, somebody that had a personal relationship with the Holy Spirit, a deep one. You can't just manipulate him. He's not somebody you can manipulate anyhow. Even if you're right, you have to be able to prove to him that that your way is the right way. So he would challenge things. Anytime he talks, you can hear maybe silent. Oh gosh, what is this brother going to say now? You know what I mean? So those are the kind of things that he introduced me to be a person of thinker, like you will always say, not just a biomass. Question things, analyze things before you accept it to be true. Have your own thoughts, have your own contributions as well.
Now, but I'm going to tell you something though, because from the first time I spoke to your husband, and when he wrote to me, and when he started listening to me, even though he is so far from you, as you are saying, and he's been so different from the world around him and the society around him, and he was so advanced, but from my own perspective, when I met him, as far as I'm concerned, when I met him, he was just raw as well, compared to who he is right now, and compared to who you are right now. Because when I met him, he showed me the videos he had done before then. He directed me to go and see the videos he has done. So I went to see the videos he had done, and and some things he had written, and especially the videos. I listened to them, and I just say, oh boy, because it was just going to remind me of Kenneth Hagin or Kenneth Copeland or Miles Monroe or some people like that. But I knew that, oh boy, he was good. He was doing his own thing, but I knew this guy needed to really listen to me very well. But now, this is less than a year ago maybe. The guy I'm sure those men of God will be happy to listen to Sunday now, and they will be taking notes all day. This is not the same Sunday that I knew a year ago. This guy now, I read his articles, I listen to him, I am ready to learn. It's like this guy was on stage 1, and he has just gone full to stage like 100 in a year. The same with you. Now, I didn't know you in the beginning, but from what you are saying about yourself, even if you're on the same level with your husband, when I listen to you now and I read what you have written, it's like, I don't know any church that you could go and sit down in anymore. I think they need to come and sit down and listen to you. So I'm saying your husband had made such a huge leap from just the time that I knew him. And you too, It's like you pull right now, you're on the word of on your own, just like, of course, the DSA word, but still, what will you say to this?
Yes, definitely. I would say that one thing about him too is that
Now I'm going to ask you to look right into the camera, the way you were doing before.
Okay.
Right. That way you are talking to our people.
That's why I was putting my head.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, definitely. I would say that one thing about him is that he's the reason why I would say one of the reasons he can accelerate like that by the grace of God is that he's a student. You know, if you give him something, he's a careful learner. He will take his time to just really just enter the thing, you know, and he will just observe the thing. And in the beginning, sometimes it may seem like he's slow, but he's just like a detailed learner, and he almost like he will give everything that he has into whatever he's passionate about learning. And because he's so hungry for the truth, that's one of the characteristics I love about him the most, is that he's very hungry, very, very hungry for the truth. So when God leads him or he discovers a route, he can just enter with the whole of himself, and so that helps him to, grow fast, to accelerate fast. And of course, like you mentioned, I'm grateful that he always carries me along. To a degree, I also love to learn. I also have that hunger for learning, and just to be all that God has called me to be. That's what we are living for, is for both of us to be able to do what God has, ordained this marriage for. And so, he does his best to carry me along, to teach me and things like that. So we're able to go go in that direction together.
How will you observe the observation that I just noted about your acceleration, about his acceleration, your acceleration since a year ago?
Oh yeah. In fact, I was just thinking about that this morning. We are still in the morning. We're just eating noon. I was just thinking about that, and that's one of the reasons why I say, often that I'm thankful and I'm so grateful for you, because just within last year and now, some of the things that God has just really used you to do in our lives, we're just so grateful, and it's just only the beginning. It's just only the start. Some of the things that God have just used you to do in our heart, and like I was saying, because of his hunger to really learn, our hunger to really learn, I think that's one of the things that God is using to help us. But definitely, between a year ago and now, there has been a lot of change within us. There's been a lot of more clarity in terms of where we are going. So the clearer that you can be about where you're supposed to go in life, the easier it is to maneuver, to take steps, And as I said in that article, those are some of the things that we're praying for. It's just when you know that God has called you, there's so much that God wants to use you to do, but it's just almost like, our prayer, like I said in the article, some religious prayer that we were praying before, thinking that God will be the one to just, drop something from the sky and say, do this, but it wasn't so. So it was through you that God began to give us some understanding and practical wisdom that was able to unleash what was already inside of us, in addition to the many things. It's almost like your teachings help us and help me to reprogram my thinking. And once your thinking can begin to change, then you can begin to move towards the right direction in life.
Was it easy though? Because I think I really have experienced what you said about your husband being a quick learner, and I think he's a man of truth. I think he's more interested in the truth than anything else. Because the way I got to know about this is that whenever he has a question, he will ask the question. But if he gets to know the truth, he's ready to let go.
Oh yeah.
So was it a big thing? Was it a hard thing for him or for you to really let go? Because I could pick up from where he was coming from, that he was learning a lot from a lot of people, a lot of guys, men of God and things like that. But now, what he's talking about is so far ahead than a lot of those men of God that he was learning from, really. And so, how easy was it for you, for him, to being able to, make that adjustment?
Yeah, I would say for him, if I understand your question correctly, for him, I wouldn't say that it was difficult because sometimes people can confuse him because his way with arrogance. But one thing I know about my husband living with him for some few years is that he's so hungry for truth that he doesn't mind his reputation looking bad. He doesn't mind going back and saying, I'm sorry, I messed up, but he's somebody that has to understand it. That's part of the religion that I learned to undo for myself, because sometimes because we respect people and we value them, we just take whatever, without really understanding, taking the time to understand it. So for him, it wasn't difficult. For me, you can say for me, yes. It was more of a change for me because in anything that you're growing, there's always a layer to that. I knew that some people would think that I'm strange because of the things that I'm sharing, the things that I stand for now. They would think they already know that my husband is people that know they already know that he's a rascal guy, but they would think that a good wife is supposed to calm him down and make him sensible. But then now you are not doing the craziness. So for me, some people may have it was a little bit different, But again, when I decided to marry him, I knew that this journey that I was entering into, was going to require me to put a seatbelt on because it was going to be definite, our marriage is going to be a journey. It's a journey that is not about us, but it's a journey about fulfilling the purpose of God. And so I've had to grow a lot, and I still am, and he is. So I wouldn't say it was difficult for him per se, but maybe for me.
Okay, then I'm going to talk about you.
Yes.
In your letter here, you said, when I started, you tried to follow your husband, but we are leaving your husband now. Let's talk about you. You said, I started listening to DSA's Kingdom and Church series. Then God began to destroy my theology and then taught me the real purpose of the kingdom and the church. As I started to get enlightened by the truth in DSA's teachings, I found it difficult to keep attending church services. Eventually, this holy church girl stopped attending church services too, like my husband. Now, DSA's platform has become one of the main places my family gather for church service. Now, what is it about this Kingdom and Church series?
Yeah, the Kingdom and Church series is a series that I believe every true believer should just listen to. If you're really a child of God and you claim to belong to the kingdom of God, then you need to know about the kingdom of God. Before I met you, the other person who's your friend that is in glory now, that I listened to was Dr. Monroe a lot, and his teachings really helped me in the area of preparing me for marriage. But I never really understood the message of the kingdom like I've understood through you. Like, you just made it so practical, You just really helped me to understand what it means to belong to the kingdom of God, to be a person of love, to be a light in the world, and how to go about that. Just the how. Some things that, we hear about in church, for example, when you're talking about the Beatitudes of recent. Some things, for example, that morning one, I will have to say, that's the scripture I always pondered over the years. What does it mean? Blessed, are they that mourn? What does that even mean? Am I supposed to be crying about what? But there's a way that you just have the ability to just make things so practical, through the help of God. So that Kingdom series just helped me to understand more practically how, as the person that belongs to God, how I am supposed to go about living my life on the earth, to representing God and expressing His kingdom beyond theory, beyond just what I say, but, the practical way of living in the kingdom of God and being His ambassador on earth. Just so practical.
But many people, it's good that you are talking about the Kingdom series, because many people, they talk about prayer series, mainly because they have not listened to the Kingdom series, and they don't know that Kingdom series for me is even much more important than the prayer series. But people just, when they think about the Kingdom series, they kind of think that what they are going to hear from there is the same thing that Dr. Miles Monroe has spoken about, or the way Dr. Miles Monroe teaches the Kingdom. So, and it's more like theoretical, and they don't kind of get it, you know, colony or the empire, or, you know, so people kind of run away from the Kingdom topic because of that. What would you say? Is it the same thing, or why should people listen?
No, it's not the same thing. You know, it's even as you read, if you read any of your books, you also see that you give a lot of practicals in your books, and that's what differentiate your writings from others. You just have a way, even like as you continue to read, you know, the bio that I sent, you'll see that there were some things that maybe my husband was telling me, but I just didn't understand until I heard it from you. Because you just have a way of making things so practical, you know, about what it means, you know, to be a person of the kingdom of God, about knowing your and you know, if you listen to the prayer series, it will even want to take you to the kingdom series again, because I'm telling you, I still go back to that, because it's like, once you understand, I am of the kingdom. So what does it mean to be of the kingdom? It's almost like saying, I belong to DSA family, or I'm one of Dr. Sunday Adelaja. In real life, I'm like your biological child. What does it mean to be your child in that family? What is the language of that family? What is the culture of that family? What is the way we think? What is the work ethic? What is our principles? What is the values of your family? Your children know that about you more than any other people, because you have created a culture in your family for so many years, and there's something that differentiates your family from other families. So what does it mean for me? That's why I'm on this earth. If I'm living a life that is outside of who I am as a person of the kingdom, then then what am I even doing? I'm here as a representative of my creator. I belong to his kingdom. I was translated from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of light. So I go back to that series often, because I need to know, I need to constantly be reminded. I need that thing to enter me. I want to really understand. And the minute you understand who you are, nobody can stop you in life.
Now,
so that is why I believe that series is so important.
Okay, now there is a phrase here. I'm going to go back to your husband, but not about him, but about you. There is a phrase here you wrote about your husband, that sometimes in last year, when your husband will be listening to DSA daily broadcast, that he will often shout with excitement, and sometimes with tears of joy in his eyes, because he had finally found a man who was boldly declaring some of the things that God had revealed to him years before, but seemed too strange to share with some Christians. Now, that's what happened to him. Now, what happened to you?
Yes. What happened to me, which I mentioned a little bit in there, was that I had a love. It's like, it still happens every time I listen to you. There's this love, there's this liberation, this freedom that happens more and more to know who your father is, even you know, through that prayer series as well. Who your father is, who you belong to, and who you are in him. You know, I had this knowing the love of God even more and more deeper, and then knowing a sense of urgency that I'm supposed to live for him. I'm supposed to be a carrier of him more so in all that I do, with all that I, you know, everyone that I encounter. So there's this sense of urgency of not wasting your life, you know, of really using your time to convert it into in a way that pleases him. So just being accountable of how you're really it's almost like, once you understand that, you don't have time to think about what people, you know, will say about you, the praises that you receive from men, because I'm here because of the love of God. I'm who I am now because of the love of God. And so now I have this responsibility to carry this love to other people. So for me, it was just a sense of urgency, you know. We often, a lot of Christians, we talk about purpose, but we don't even know truly what our purpose is. So it was a sense of
Now, so but you the way you've been moving quite fast, girl. With you influencing in one of your groups over 3,000 people, just you. This is not even your husband yet, and I know that your husband, I don't know, the last I spoke to him, which was maybe 6 months, I don't know how many months now, but he was influencing 3.5 thousand people in his group. I'm sure he has more now. You are already 3.5, and this is within a year. It's like you had not, what happened all those years before? It's like you've done more in 1 year than all the years you had lived before now.
Yeah, that's what your teachings do to us. I'm not the first to say this. People say this over and over again on this platform. Your teachings, what they do to us is they almost want to, make you want to slap yourself. Like, what have I been doing with my precious time? Really helping you to understand the value of time being the greatest wealth that we have. Let me go back to what I really wanted to say. Your teachings really help us to regain those years. It removes some wrongful beliefs that we have embedded over the years without knowing in Christendom, in religion, So that's what your teachings. It has a way of just liberating us, making us free, and then you empower us. You give us like the blueprint. You don't just say this is what we're supposed to do as a believer, but then you teach us the specific route, the steps to going about what God expects us to do. And then that's just what your teachings does. It's empowering.
Okay, how do you feel when you see all these people following your husband? Because he's a very important man. He's one of the most influential Christian men on Facebook today. Either from America or from Africa or from anywhere. He's one of the most influential guys on Facebook. And you too. So when you look back at your hour of relaxation, when you're able to relax and just look at what is happening around your life, it's like your life has just drastically changed from you people to the whole world. It's like the world is your platform right now.
Yeah. What do I think when I see all of that? I'm just grateful. I mean, I know that nobody can go back into time to undo what has happened in time, but I'm grateful that somehow God led us to discover you. And again, it goes back to what I always say. It's always like him always being curious and hungry to move forward, and somehow he discovered you, last year. So the thing about me is whenever God uses anybody to be a blessing to me, I just can never forget it. So I can never ever just forget how God has used you to just help us. And it's because of your teachings that, we really started to, take more ownership of our destiny. We just really started to take, more ownership, and we became in charge of our future and our destiny. And so I'm just so grateful now that, people are being blessed by our lives, by him, in so many ways that, we may not even know. The feel that we get, we hear about, we are grateful. But had it been that we didn't, encounter you last year, we wouldn't be able to know that even what we have is enough to start being a blessing to people. We would have still been waiting to hear God speak, to tell us to do this and do that, because that's the traditional way that you're supposed to go about doing what God has called you to do. So it was just through that. And so we are so grateful that God really used you to wake us from our slumber and stop thinking, neglecting, or stop, just waiting for all those things that are just time waster, waiting for one miraculous or supernatural life before you start doing what God has called you to do. So we're just so grateful now that people's life are being blessed, people are being changed, people are now, it's like what you're doing is just trickling all over. People are changing, people are taking charge of their own destiny, their mindsets are being changed, they're being free from religion, they're knowing God and loving God, so much than ever before, so we're just so grateful.
Did you listen to in this your letter? You spoke about love. You described love in the way that only maybe on DSA platform people talk like that. But you've come to grasp the full understanding of loving God and just love. And how did you listen to the love series?
Yes, I listened to the love series.
But what happened with this love, this understanding of love that you have? Is it just from the love series or from listening to everything else? And how has this really changed your worldview?
It's a combination of everything. It's a combination of just like of my own questions. And one of the things about me is I've always been curious about knowing love, from a young age, and that's why I'm very interested and passionate about marriage and family and just like that. So love is just something that I've always wanted to know. And so once I met my husband, sorry that I bring him up a lot because I cannot deny that.
I think you should. But my Mayowa is here assisting me, and she showed me a note that your husband had written that don't talk about me, talk about Ruthie. Your husband wrote and said, don't talk about me, talk about my wife. Don't focus on me, focus on my wife. So he's caring for you, just like you are caring for him.
Oh, he's online. They saying that online right now?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. But I'm shy. But anyway, so it was just really teaching me, just getting deeper into really understanding, because a lot of the things that we do, for example, even some way that you teach, you say things and people will say you're not operating in love and things like that. Many things are just based on falsehood, So just meeting him, just understanding more what love is, and then listening to your series on kingdom. I think to me that series was just all about love, just all about love. That's what I saw. The kingdom of God is just the kingdom of love. It's a kingdom of love. It's a kingdom of goodness. It's a kingdom of truth. It's just a kingdom full of love. And so that just boiled in, because that's an area that I'm also curious of. It just ignited a desire to want to know more about this love. I want to sink in farther. I want to know more so that I can be an expression of this love. Even listening to you, every time that you're talking, your teachings, what I hear is just love. What I hear is just love for people, love for God, love for people, and love is just expressed. Love for God is truly expressed, by the way we love each other. So I just see love in you and all over you. And so that's just what I want to also reciprocate or also spread out to other people. True love, not loving people in lies, not loving people in falsehood, but loving people as God, truly. When it's time for correction, you correct. When it's time to, to cuddle a little bit, to soften, you soften. But loving people in truth, yes.
But how has this, or your understanding of love, your God's understanding of love, how has it affected what you are doing now? Because you are giving a lot of love to families, and you told a story in your letter about a family that greatly influenced you, but you heard about their divorce, and as a result, it has. But now you know what to do with it. Would you like to tell us that story again?
Oh yeah. Well, I have a very close family that dear to me, and they went through a very difficult, not a very easy separation, and that really did something to me, watching them go through that. And because I listened to your series and I understood what it means to be a problem solver, and it's family and marriage is an area challenge that has been ongoing for some time. But at this point, that I met you, they finally decided to go there, to maybe just separate for some time. So we didn't really see that coming. So that thing really, because it's like if you know them, you wouldn't think that. It's almost like if this can happen to this couple, hey, while are they, So it really just touched me in a deep way because of how much I love them and how much they have been a blessing to me. And I realized that, instead of crying about it and being sad about it, why not do something about it? I realized that I couldn't maybe go back in time and fix them and help them with their issue. But I know that where the roots of some of their problems is even in marriage and things like that and in family. So I just decided, if I cannot save that family, whatever I can do to help other couples, because marriage and family is the bedrock of every society. As long as humanity remains, people will still want to marry. So whatever I can do to help other couples have a better experience in marriage, and really, especially for believers, to understand, kingdom marriage and kingdom family, so that we can really be an example of how marriage and family is supposed to be done, and we can use that platform as a way of spreading the message of the Lord all over society. Let me begin to do that. So my way of loving, which is what I learned from you, was like discovering, getting to walk. The series of walk has also been helpful to me to, discovering what I can do to begin to now help. That is the way of loving. Love is not passive, right? Love is being able to recognize what you have that can change, that can be a blessing to other people, and getting to work. It's not just about sympathizing. It's not just about saying, hey, Shay, I'll pray for you. Looking into yourself, what can I do? What has God placed in my hand? What can I begin to multiply? How can I convert the knowledge, the wisdom I have into an expression of love to other people? And so that was, how I began to seriously do things, write things on marriage and all of that to help people.
Now, you've written here that I'm now providing articles, videos, private counseling, and coaching to achieve this purpose on my platform. The page is now reaching thousands of lives with over 3,500 people subscribed.
Yes, sir.
Subscribed.
Yeah, they are now about 5,000, over 5,000 now, yes.
No.
Yes. So, yes, and so I found it was almost like, I forgot the name of the series I listened to of you, that you mentioned how to turn, it's like almost acceleration, how to turn your anger, because really I was very, very hurt by that situation. I don't want to get into all the details, but I was just very heartbroken by what happened. This family means so much to me, and I know, so it was just like, I just knew that there was something I could do about it. So I just started to, reach out to people with the knowledge, the little wisdom that I have, just to start helping singles prepare that, equipping them with the mindset that they need.
What is the name of the what is the title of the message you are about to talk about? How to turn your anger to?
I'm trying to I don't remember the exact title. I don't know if it's accelerating your anger or something like that. How to use it, I don't remember the name of that. But it's not just one message that you have preached like that. It's just many things that you talk about, whether it's in your purpose series or in that particular one. But you have said, I remember listening to one particular message like that about how you turn, your anger or something like that, and you use it as an acceleration to accelerate you into, showing more love or being able to use it as a way of creating new products. I wasn't necessarily thinking about creating a product with it, but it was just like I was going to use this anger, this hurt that I felt as a means of reaching other people, helping other people to not find themselves in this kind of predicament. Because when something like that happened, I think about the children that are involved who didn't ask to be in a situation like that. And I have such a sensitive heart for children who have to deal with mom and dad not being together. Maybe that the mom and dad is having issues. They have to, be the mediator, or maybe they have to. It's just not fair, So just
Yeah, but talking about life is predictable. You are really making it this predictable, and it's like you are determined to make life predictable to the whole world. Because tell us about do yourself and society a favor, prepare for marriage.
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know if you've seen any of my videos that I've done for singles, but that's one thing I've always observed around me, even in the state. You know, once you go to school, you graduate and things like that, the next thing that people think about is putting a rock, having a rock on their finger, getting married. You know, that's just after you maybe land a good job, the next thing is you get married. That's just what you do, you know? And I've just always, you know, just look at people. How can you just be getting married like that? You know, marriage is not something you just enter into like that. And then you wonder why you're having issues before, because this is what you do. You think you're mature. I'm mature, I'm grown, so I can get married. No, you don't know anything, any basics. What it means to be a man, a husband, a wife. You want to have children one day. You don't know what it means to be a parent. You don't know the complexity of the opposite sex. You know, all these different things, how to manage finance. You just want to jump into marriage, you know. So I observed that a lot, you know, growing up in this society that I am from, and even especially in the African culture, where especially African parents have a tendency of pressurizing their children after a certain age to get married. So that's just part of the things, you know, I've observed growing up, and I just knew that.
But is that a book? Is that a book you are planning to write, and when is it coming out?
Yeah, it's a book that I'm planning to write, and hopefully next year by God's grace. So the book is basically, because if you're going to get married, please do us all a favor. Do the whole world, do society a favor, and prepare for it. If you're going to get married, do your children a favor. Prepare for it so that it becomes what it is supposed to be. So that you're able to use it as a tool, especially as a Christian, you know, to fulfill your purpose, serve God. That's what marriage is supposed to be. So that's essentially what that book is. You know, like I've mentioned, I don't know if anybody from my platform, is on here, but I usually mention of how, like, there's so many different institutions around that, you know, that you can learn certain trades of whatever it is that you desire to learn in life, whether, you know, you want to be a doctor, lawyer, but there's really no concrete, you know, school to learn what it means to be to marry, to be, you know, in a marriage. And so people are just rushed. It's like society doesn't value that institution, and it's from the marriage institution, the family institution, that every other institution in society is derived. So the book essentially is just showing the importance of, you know, you're doing yourself. If you love yourself, if you really love yourself, you're going to do yourself a favor. And if you love society, you're going to do society a favor and make sure that you learn what it means to be in a marriage, what it's supposed to be for, and you equip yourself so that you succeed in it, so that your marriage can give to society what it is supposed to give society. So that's what that would be. Hopefully,
what are your can you give us your YouTube platform and your Facebook platform?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay, you put it on the link.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, while you are doing that, I would like to ask you another question about raising genius kids.
Okay, sir.
It's like not just you who is passionate about that. Your husband is passionate about that too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so that's another thing that we are extremely passionate about as a family. Like I said, for example, even when we watch your own family, the way you relate with them, what is coming from their life, what they exude, whenever there's a small opportunity that we get to see them on screen, you'll see that these children are children that parents are investing time, they're being intentional about investing and pouring in their life. And so if you're going to be a parent, if you're going to bring a child into this world, you know, making sure that you have time to invest in them, that you have the finance to, if you don't, you know, to just provide whatever it is that they need to maximize the whole of their being, their brain capacity, their mental faculties, even their spiritual life, you know, their soulish, you know, self, so that they can, their physical bodies, so that they can be all that they're supposed to be. So we believe in starting that process very, very, you know, young. So just giving children the opportunity, not thinking that, you know, they cannot learn at a young age, but they can learn at a young age. So we want to be able to show parents that they can begin to teach their children that that their children can begin to actually learn and begin to maximize, their faculties. And as they begin to do that, there's no stop to what they can learn as they're growing up. There's no stop, and that will begin to, essentially just ignite it, because we were all born with a natural love, inclination to learn. But as when we send our children to different school districts, because of the way that the normal education system was fashioned, of course, not every school system is like that, but the normal traditional way that the education system is fashioned is not to produce or help children maximize themselves totally so that they can fulfill their purpose. So what we want to do is to really help and show parents that that all of us, even as we know from one of your books, was born geniuses, and it's our job to begin to create the learning environment at home that will ignite, that will nurture and flame that natural love for learning that they have, so that they can begin to flourish in life starting from a young age, and they can begin to know that they are creators, that they are producers, that they are on this earth to give to society. So we want parents to take ownership of their education, students' education, as early on as possible.
Is it true that you lost 30 pounds in 1 year?
Yes, that was, I did. After, is it 13 kilo? Yes, so that's 16 pounds. It's pounds that I'm not familiar with, but yeah. So I did lose that pound. I gained a lot of weight during pregnancy, and as I mentioned in the article, or the bio that I wrote, I come from a family with a lot of meat, So we're naturally meaty people. And people have, some people in my family have always said, oh, you're big as us too. And when after you have children, it's just the way we are. Accept your fate, But I just, when that happened, I realized that, oh no, if I didn't do something about it, if I'm not proactive about my health, definitely their prophecy might happen.
30 kilograms in 1 year. That is huge.
Thank you, sir.
So what are you doing about it to teach other people?
Yeah, so I also I coach people privately. People privately, giving them just the tips, the information that they need. Not just about losing weight. Losing weight is a byproduct of understanding that we are supposed to, take care of our health. Be in charge of our health, eat well, nourish our bodies well to the best of our abilities. There's a part for God to do, and there's a part for men to do. So as much as we can, let's be proactive about, nourishing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. And if that becomes a regular part of us, then we can, maintain the physical fitness that, that we want. So I provide one-on-one coaching to help individuals lose weight that they want and obtain their physique.
Now, you know what I'm thinking when I listen to you and I see what's going on around you and your husband? Do you think you people are living your dream life? A dream life. Not the ultimate life, of course, you are still growing, but for the moment, where you are right now, are you really living a fulfilled life, a dream life, as of today, as you are going and advancing to perfect your life, to make everything even greater, better? But are you really living a fulfilled life?
Yes, I would definitely say that as we are discovering more of God's heartbeat and we are aligning ourselves to that more, there's so much fulfillment that comes from that, and just really being grounded in Him, and because even as we are now, we're so happy that you get to find people that you can connect with. That's one of the beauties of social media. You can connect with like-minded people, but in real life we are one of the strange and outcasts. But it's so nice to discover what the plan, the heart of God is, and be able to align yourself to that, not caring what other people will say, and just giving yourself to that. Obviously, you're not where you want to be, but just knowing that this is what God desires, and knowing how to remain in that, and knowing how to allow God to remove from you the things that is not of yes, there's a lot of fulfillment, so much fulfillment in living out His will and being a blessing to other people. There's so much fulfillment out of that. So yes.
But can you believe this all happened within 1 year?
That's a very interesting question. It is mind blowing that all of this is happening in 1 year, and it's so encouraging too, because it's almost like if all of this can happen in 1 year, what will be of tomorrow? So I believe God has a way of really helping people, when we are really ready to do what He has called us to do and just be obedient to what He's showing us. He has a way of doing beyond all that we could ever think or imagine. So sometimes for me too, it's usually hard for me to pause and to just see what has happened, because I'm always thinking about moving, the future. What's next? Like there's so much, I feel like there's so much that God has already supposed to, that God expects of me. Sometimes, we just have to pause sometimes and just appreciate God. It's almost like nothing has happened, because there's so much you're supposed to do that you haven't done. There's so much time that has been wasted. So it's almost like you just want God to help you so that you can just pour out and be all that He has called you to do. Yeah.
Well, Ruthie, I'm so proud of you and your husband. Now, Mayowa is going to read some of the comments here. And I just want to say what a beautiful thing to be able to fellowship with you today. And to know you and your husband. I'm so proud of the two of you. But I can't believe still that you are just 28. I thought with the wisdom coming from you, you might be 48. The same with your husband, I will give him 50.
I'm 29, by the way. I just turned 29.
Yeah, but still.
Okay, I'm 10. Hello, everyone. Hello, Ruthie. Yes, congratulations.
Wait, so I want to just greet him goodbye. He just left.
No, he's here. He can hear you.
Hello, Dr. Sunday.
Yes.
I want to say thank you. I am so happy for the opportunity to finally be able to talk to you. I'm so delighted. And I'm giving you a big hug. I hope that one day I'll get to see you and your family in person. I am so grateful for your life and what you are doing. And I am not shy. Maybe it's the American in me to say. I know sometimes when you say you love people, you have to be careful, but me, I'm not careful. I love you very much. And I thank you very much. And I thank you so much for your life.
So you can't wait to give me that hug live.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, my dear. Blessings.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ruthie.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayowa. God bless you.
Amen. Thanks. Okay, guys, can you believe that? That was Ruthie Akinbowale. She has a website for her nutrition and diet, so please visit that website. I pinged her up, so you should be able to see her and her details. And can you believe her story and the things that she's saying? I actually can't believe that she's 29. It's unbelievable. But it's really nice to hear her maturity, her wisdom, everything. I'm really impressed. I told you earlier that you will be inspired. By the time we finish this program today, you will be inspired, and I am totally inspired. This I'm going to watch again. But in the meantime, I'm now going to start reading some of your comments out. I know we've gone past the time, and we'll be back again in 35 minutes, but I'm going to spend a few minutes to read the comments. Here we go. Hello, Victoria is saying congratulations, sis. We have here Lisa also saying congratulations. We have Jane congratulating you. Vivian is saying living the joy of the work you're doing is obviously the heartbeat of God. Inspirational. Thank you very much, Vivian. Well said. Thank you so much. Her husband, Sunday Akinbowale, has actually also pinged her details, a website for the body and health fitness. Please, guys, visit and see what it's all about. Roland, hello, good evening. Vivian also says, awesome, congratulations, Ruthie. and Sunday. Thank you. Former said great topic for a book. I think that was for your book title that you mentioned earlier. Dio, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I will let Dr. Sunday know. Rufaro is wild. Former saying calling and purpose series. Yes, thank you very much, Former. How to turn your pain into a product. Okay, this is one of Dr. Sunday series or titles that Ruth was talking about earlier. Dio says, okay, thank you, Dio. We will get in touch. Thank you very much. That's really good of you. Davina says, yes, the kingdom is the family, the love, the responsibilities of whom you are. Thank you very much for that. I thought the same way. I thought the same way until I listened and my eyes opened. Thank you very much. I think these are earlier comments. Guys, it's just been a pleasure being with you as usual. We'll be back in just about 32 or so minutes. So please join us. Yesterday was really, really heartbreaking. 9 p.m. program yesterday. I was just, I know how everybody was feeling. I don't need to say it. I don't even want to remember it, but I have to remember it so that I can make a difference and make a change. So thank you very much. Please join us again. That's 9 p.m. Ukraine time. That's 7 p.m. UK and Nigeria time. It's been a pleasure being with you. We'll see you again in 30 minutes. And also, don't forget, we have programs at 7 p.m., which is 5 p.m. UK and Nigeria time, which is the program is just ending now. Normally, it's just 1 hour, but we had a special Kingdom Fruit. Again, I'd like to thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.